Hey guys, Dr. Macy's here. Welcome back to some more Bears with Dark. We're gonna have a new thing. It's early in the morning. I got my coffee. We're playing. It's not really early though. It's 9:30. But we're gonna be talking about the playoffs, and we're gonna start with the division, and then we'll go and hop in the playoff machine and do some fun stuff with that. So to show this, we first have to talk about the standings for the NFC North. So Packers are up by what is technically a half game because of a tie. So half game there. Lions behind the Bears by a game, and then a game and a half behind the Packers. This tie is likely going to cause some issues when it comes to the grand scheme of things. And unfortunately, the Cowboys couldn't win that game. So there's that. So the Bears, they are actually going in somewhat, not the hardest schedule. I'd say one of the hardest out of the three that's in there, but the other two don't have easy schedules themselves. So we go to the Browns, which Browns just got blown out in the running game by the Titans, but still only lost by 2 points. In a weird situation with that at the end of the play. I think the Browns are imploding. I don't expect the coaching staff to be there. Losing, I think it was Malik Collins in the middle of their defense, kind of destroyed their run stopping game. Still a good defense in the pass rush, but it's a team that can be ran on. So easier for the Bears. Then, of course, rematch against the Packers. I had this at the beginning of the year that this would likely be a series that favors the home team and them splitting. So expect the Bears come out on prime time on a Saturday to win that game. The puzzle one is really the 49ers. Another primetime game. Can the Bears come through and do the same thing they did with the Eagles? Run game and run it down the throats? Well, to see that. And then the Lions. Little rematch home game. This is probably the one that I thought the Lions could do the most. Plus, the Lions are kind of struggling at times with some of their offense and their defense. When we look at the Lions, they have probably arguably not the hardest, but it's up there with the Bears. Now, they do have one easy game with this, with the Vikings, but still, you can't sleep on the Vikings. It's indoor one, maybe a bounce back. I know the Vikings want to actually bounce back and have a good ending to the season. We'll see how JJ McCarthy plays in that, but that's their one light game. They play the Rams. Rams are going for the first seed right now, are in a struggle in their own division between these Seahawks. So that is an interesting one. Whoever, if the Rams win this, they're on their way to a one seed, but this is a survival game for the Lions. If they drop against the Rams, and then the Steelers are a good defensive team and run the football, Aaron Rodgers goes in there and beats the Lions with that. That could actually end up destroying the hopes for the Lions in the playoffs. So Lions looking in, they need some help. Packers, they have the Broncos coming up. Broncos been playing well. Decent a run game. Bo Nix hit or miss at times, but still more hitting than missing. And comes down to it, that is a hard place to play, going to Denver and playing against a good Broncos team. And of course, the Bears in Chicago. Then they play the Ravens at home. Ravens have struggled at times this season. They're on a streak right now. Still winning despite, I don't think Lamar's 100% healthy at this point, but the Ravens team is still rolling. And if that Ravens team can run the football, that's going to be an issue for the Packers. Then they end the season on the Vikings, which is probably the easiest end of season. If you go in knowing that you need to win on January 4th, this is best set up for the Packers here because you're playing the Vikings. So what that means in the playoff situation here, let's go over to the machine and have some fun. So week 15, we're kind of going through all of this. We'll go through each matchup, and I'll for the ones that don't really matter, like AFC portion, I'll just pick through, but otherwise we'll kind of go through. So the non-playoff teams we'll go through first. Jags over Jets. I think Chargers over Chiefs. I'm going to say Baltimore over the Bengals. I'm going to say the Bills over Pats. We're going to talk about NFC, so the NFC playoff ones. Texans over Arizona. I'm going to say Giants over Washington. We'll say Eagles over Raiders. It's an easy one. We'll leave the Seattle one. We'll leave that one. We'll leave that one. Panthers over Saints. Cowboys over Vikings. And Pittsburgh over the Dolphins. So, going through this, Falcons have been a thorn in the side of a lot of teams in their division. I think Tampa Bay getting Mike Evans back the next couple of games could be the turning factor. I'm not sure if he's supposed to actually play. So they're saying that he was activated last Wednesday. He could be. He's trying to work himself back. Typically, when you're activated on a Wednesday and the following week you have a Thursday game, there's a possibility that you're playing. So Mike Evans getting back for Tampa Bay is a good sign for them. Bears will win over Cleveland at home. When it comes to Seattle and the Colts right now with the injury of Daniel Jones for the Achilles injury, and then Riley getting an injury to his knee that makes him week to week, and then bring in Philip Rivers. I just don't see it. Seahawks win that one. I'm going to say Broncos at home. Broncos there with that running game is going to play a lot better, and that defense, while they have Patrick Surtain, I think Patrick Surtain's out, right? I think he is out. Yeah, it's a torn pec. So he's been sidelined. So they're thinking that he is going to be back, if not already back. So that's going to be a good one there. So the Broncos are on a good streak, and I think they continue it there at home. San Fran over the Titans. Now, Stafford's playing some of his best football right now this year. And I think the Rams playing at home are going to take this one. And I think they'll move to 11-3. And it just doesn't bode well for the Lions here. I mean, it's kind of a hit or miss in this week. If the Lions lose, they're likely sitting out, and you're in a better position to take a playoff seed. If LA loses and you win as Chicago against the Browns, it puts you in a better position to where you can maybe take that first seed if the Seahawks do slip. So it's kind of a hit or miss portion. Do you want Detroit to still be a game behind you? Not really. But you're thinking about that one seed. I think the Rams will end up winning that. As we go into week 16, let's do the other games around here. I think the Jets will win this one against the Saints. Bills over Browns. Chiefs over Titans. Rams over the Cowboys. I think the Giants do beat Minnesota. Bengals over Dolphins. We'll say Falcons over Carolina. Texans over Raiders. I'm going to say New England does not win that game. I'm going to say Baltimore. And so we go through. So this was an insane matchup the first time when we were looking at the Rams and Seattle. When you look at this, when they played that first game, it was a 2-point win at home against Seattle. And that one was, if I'm not mistaken, Seattle missed a field goal in that. So Seattle should have won that game. They missed a field goal in the last 2 minutes. So I think Seattle will do that. It'll be a split. And so Seattle will take that game. Eagles over Commanders easily. Go through with the reinforcements of Mike Evans. I think Tampa Bay has enough to go over Carolina. Broncos over Jags. And then 49ers over the Colts because of that Colts issue. The Colts are at home, so you never know, but I think I think it would still be the 49ers. Now the big ones in division. I said this game would be between the Bears and Packers would be split. This will likely be for the division. I think Chicago takes the home stand here. Does win, has a little bit more energy, primetime at home. And then when we roll into the Lions and Steelers. Now, Lions on the back end struggling at times, but the Steelers right now, Steelers have been rolling. Against some good teams, they've won big when they have, but when they've came up short, they've really came up short at times. So Aaron Rodgers back, they win this one against the Ravens. I think that is really the biggest thing. I mean, Rodgers didn't play in this Bills game, I don't think. It was or he did, but he got hurt, right? Let's see. Yeah, he got hurt. Mason Rudolph comes in for that. And the Bills are just on a roll right now as well. Mason Rudolph played this one as well, so maybe Rodgers wasn't completely healthy playing this one. Rodgers comes through though, plays against the Ravens. The Bengals, I think this one was the one that Rodgers got hurt in. So it's kind of hit or miss on there. I think ultimately Steelers going to go ahead and get this win because of the defense against the Lions. Lions have been struggling at times when it comes to the defense, but also have come to issues with a lot of the offense. I mean, I think it was Frank Ragnow was trying to come back. I think it was. He has been ruled that he can't come back because of knee injury, so he can't come out of retirement. Cowboys have had some issues here. Taking that L against the Packers. Struggled at times against the Giants. Giants probably should have won this game, the grand scheme of things, but ultimately the Giants just could not keep it on. They lost the Eagles in a hard-fought game. Commanders don't have a quarterback there. They lost to the Vikings there in that one. So it comes to a hit-or-miss season. Like, there is some holes with this Lions team, and I think a good disciplined team will be able to do that. And I think the Steelers are just that, a good disciplined team. It's going to be all on Rodgers at that point. And so that's where I think this week will actually go up in week 16. That will put the Bears in the second seed, and it goes to right now, this 2 games. You can really get, if the Packers lose the Broncos here and you beat the Packers, you pretty much have the division. You have the division. It's a split. Of course, the tiebreaker is going to matter. And looking at the tiebreakers, let's say the Bears lose here and the Bears lose here. Let's say the Packers win here and the Packers win here. That tie, that's where that draw is really big. So you need to have 3 games up over this. Now going to week 17, Broncos will be over the Chiefs. I think the Giants will beat the Raiders. Chargers over the Texans. Bengals over Arizona. Steelers, of course, over the Browns. That's an easy one. Pats over the Jets. I think the Titans will win this one against the Saints. I mean, with that quarterback situation, I think it still has to be Jacksonville here. This one's an easy one. Tampa Bay over the Dolphins. And LA over the Falcons. They're going through this. Cowboys will, of course, beat the Commanders. This one, I mean, I don't think that's really a debate. I think the Lions 9 times out of 10 win that game. Seahawks over Carolina. Now, this is an interesting one because Carolina has actually played pretty decent against some big teams. They beat the Rams, but got blown up by the 49ers. Come back, beat the Falcons. Lose the Saints. They beat the Packers at Green Bay. So it is a mixed bag with this team. I still think, though, they don't win this game. I think Seattle wins this one. So Seattle here at 13-3. I think the first seed at this point at 13-3 is out of the question. I don't think you're catching Seattle or LA. They have a lot of easy games, despite only playing each other once. And we were talking about how they finished the season is Seattle plays the 49ers, another 12-4 team. So there is a battle there in the NFC West, and I think the first seed is going to come out of the NFC West, unfortunately. To go through that, do we have any other ones? Eagles and Bills. I think Bills on a roll right now. I think that goes to the Bills at home. And so we go into a situation where the Eagles be the 3rd seed here. Chicago is the 7th seed because of this loss. But since, say, the Bears do win at home here, this is how close this is. This could come down to the fact that the Bears and Packers meet for a 3rd time this season. And this matters. Do you want to play in Green Bay or do you want to play at home? That's what it comes down to. Is it could be a situation where that. There is some caveat with this. With Wyatt being down with that broken ankle, it's possible you could see the Ravens come through, run this ball down Green Bay's throat. This is how close this division actually is. Green Bay loses this game, and it doesn't matter if Chicago loses both of these. It doesn't. So that's where it is. Chicago's still in the seat. They're in the seat because if they win against the Browns and they take this game against the Packers, you put the pressure on Green Bay. Green Bay has to beat the Ravens and Minnesota. The hard task for them is the Ravens, but obviously that is dependent on the Broncos winning. So it's going to be one where the Bears control their destiny for the most part, and that's where you want to be as a team. You control your destiny, go out there, just perform and win games. You don't want to have to rely on other people to lose, but I think the Ravens will actually end up winning that one. Week 18, as we roll through, this is how far the Bears really are out of this first seed, I think, at this point, because of that loss to the Packers and how it makes it actually that much more difficult. Let's say the Bears do win this game and they go, let's do a realistic portion. I think San Fran's going to have that game, but I think the Bears will win this one at home against the Lions. From there, LA wins that one. I think the Chargers win that. Chiefs, Pats, Eagles. I think Pittsburgh's here. This is going to be a hard one. Now, San Fran. This one's an interesting one because they played the Seahawks earlier in the season. It was a 17-3 game. And it came down to a situation. There was a blocked field goal here. Still, San Fran wins it. Interceptions. There's a fumble. I mean, the issue is Sam Darnold did not play very well in this game. And so there was questions. Sam Darnold's played actually better since that game. And so I still think San Fran wins this game at home, to be honest. It's going to be a close game, but I think San Fran wins that game at home. Texans will beat the Colts. Colts missing the playoffs here because of that injury. I think Dallas wins there. Bengals beat the Browns. Say Atlanta over Saints. Bills over Jets. I mean, even with this, Tampa Bay has this. I think Tampa Bay still wins this game, but that's that. And of course, Jacksonville's there. Jacksonville with that 3rd seed. That is one that's not really a shocker here, but Denver with the 1st seed out there is actually big. So I'm projecting still the Bears I think they're gonna play Green Bay again. That's what it comes down to. You have this head-to-head. Even if you lose this game, you go down to the 4th seed. You don't play, but you play Los Angeles at home. I'm sorry, I'd rather just play the Packers. I'd rather just play the Packers at that. But let's say the Bears do win and they win out. That's what you're going to need to get the 1st. And that is taking the fact that the Rams lose to Seattle here. If the Rams beat Seattle in week 16, they probably have that locked up, because what you're talking about here is this is their hard setup here and here. Say if the Lions beat Seattle here, still 13-4 is still there, even with this win. So I would like, honestly, to have a situation where the Rams win here, you have Seattle win. We go into this, Rams aren't going to lose to the Falcons. I don't see that, and I don't see the Rams losing to Arizona. So the Rams have the best and easiest path to the number one in this, but also the Seahawks as well have one of the easier paths. The issue is, if they win out, they will take the first seed. So Seahawks, really, their games here in week 16, week 18 are their biggest ones. For the Rams, it's week 16 and week 15. So let's just go a lot of different directions in this. At the end of the day, you would like to see the Bears go 13-4, win out the rest of the season, and roll into the playoffs with not just the first seed, but a good streak of being hot and getting it through. And I think that relies on the fact that the offense needs to pick it up and the defensive pass rush needs to play better. But at the end of the day, this is what you have. I thought this would be an 8-9 or a 9-8 team. And right now, they're about where I guessed. I think they'll win a couple more games. I think they'll end up beating the Browns. I think they'll end up taking that second game against the Packers at home. 2 games over what I project is a success in my book. So next Wednesday, we will go through and see how the playoff simulator has crumbled down, and we'll redo this and we'll see where we are. But at the end of the day, what my expectations for week 15 is as this, and we'll see how it compares, because I'll take a screenshot of this. We'll see how it compares. Bucks, Eagles, we get that win. Go through this. Let's say Buffalo here. Boom, boom. Is this Bears would go from the 7th seed to the 2nd seed because they'd have a win over Green Bay, and I think this is how it will crumble through for week 15. So tell me in your comments below what you're looking for, not just about the Bears, but about any team out here. Can the Bears still get the number 1 seed? Do you have faith in that? Or are we playing for a 2nd seed in a Green Bay game? Because the way it's looking, Chicago and Green Bay are likely going to play another game here. I don't see any way to avoid it. From what I was looking at, more than likely, I give it probably a 67% chance where the Bears will play the Packers again. I'd rather it be in Chicago than Green Bay. So that's that. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I will see you on Friday or Saturday for some more Bears stuff. We'll talk about the Browns. I need to watch this game. Shedeur Sanders was taken out of the last play of the game, or the 2-point conversion to run a Wildcat after he had thrown 3 or 4 touchdowns. I don't know the logic in there in Browns land, but it's not good. So thanks for hanging out. See you guys next time. And don't forget, bear down. I want this number 1 seed. I'd love to see it. Later, guys.